this webinar. Oh, we're recording. Oh, Jana, just saying, got the blue blockers or the red blockers on.
These are my
Great.
nighttime ones. I don't know where my
Love
daytime is going.
it. But no, really excited for today's call and welcoming you all in from around the world. We have a very, very global community. So as always, I love in the chat. Two things I'd love to know from you is one, where are you calling in from today, zooming in from? And two, who is new? Who is brand new to this call today? We want to welcome you in. Obviously, you've been invited by someone who, you know, really loves you and wants to give you this opportunity to know what we're up to here. So we've got all the places in all the worlds where we are coming in from, which I love, love, love to see, because I just am like, whoa, the ripple effect is real. And just a little shout out in the comments if you're new, saying, hi, I'm new, so we can really welcome you in. Oh, Sweden, and you're new. Welcome, welcome. Minnesota, I'm new. Welcome. Italy, Dublin. Don't you think it's exciting? I just feel excited when I look at this and I'm like, oh, okay, we're really, really all over the place. Also, this is a great opportunity to reach out to anyone who you know wanted to be on this call. Is just a reminder. I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes when we've got life going on, these little prompts are returning but fairly new. Amazing. We love that. Yeah, just a little prompt to remind people that we are starting. And yeah, we'll pull up the first slide. I wanted to, normally we just kind of sometimes just riff, but today I wanted some visuals for you to give you a real felt sense of this movement that is a new element. No, sorry, a new frequency, be in your element. And also for those visual people, this is going to just help give you a real feel for what this is about. So Alaska, returning but feeling new. I love that. Great, just seeing in the comments. Beautiful. So we'll go back one slide, and I just want to start with a provocative question. What if? So what if you had the choice, flexibility, time, energy, vitality, and resources to bring your visions to life and be really present to the people and things that matter most? Now, I think we had this question up, and this was a question that really started my journey in these in this industry. I guess you call it health and lifestyle industry, probably more than 10 years ago now. And I really was like dreaming of a life that I wanted to live. And in the comments, maybe drop in an emoji if you've ever had that thought of like, if I'm in corporate or in my own business, there's something here that is not quite sitting right. And I know there's another way. And it starts with that question or that curiosity. And then I think we find our way into spaces like this where we see that there are other ways. Who are my people? Yeah, I got a hand up. Beautiful. So it is a great question, because what if really takes us into a more expanded state of awareness. And my invitation for you today is, whether you've been here for a while or you're brand new, really come in with this open mind and curiosity to really, you may even hear something in a way that you've heard before but it's never fully landed. So just be really in that curiosity and open to hearing today. All from all the, thumbs up on the screen, from all the amazing speakers that we have. So next, please, next. And I always just like to, I guess, ask a few more questions, and please do play along, because it's incredibly boring if I'm always just talking. I want to feel you. I want to know what's going on your end. I'm a projector in human design, so I like to work with the energy and guide the energy. But this is really what we've found. People that come into this space that really get the most out of it tend to fit into one or several of these categories. So are you passionate about wellness and looking to take your own health and vitality to a new level and inspire others in the process? Because we can only really inspire others when we're going first, you know? So yes, where are my health enthusiasts? Beautiful. I love it. Always looking for the new hacks, the new ways to optimize. many of you and some of you and actually write down which of these you feel you are, or maybe you're a mixture, but are you a coach, a healer, an entrepreneur, or a network marketer who has a vision and you've got incredible skill sets, but you really want to know how to use them and leverage them to create new income streams for yourself and others? If that's you, coach and entrepreneur, oh, great. We've got these multifaceted badasses on the call. Yeah, beautiful. Because this is, again, what we find is people, they've got these amazing skills and talents, but they just don't quite know sometimes how to really leverage that and generate income and impact through that. Are you dedicated to long-term sustainable wealth models? And are you looking to diversify your income streams? Create more freedom, travel, location independent? Am I speaking your language? And often a lot of people in our community too we have quite a strong value on family and people that want to be home with their kids and have that beautiful work-life balance. Yes, we need multiple. Beautiful. Great. I'm learning about you in the chat group. Are you interested in being part of a global community? You can already see when I say, where are you all from? That the stream of countries come flooding. And what's great about that is when you go traveling, you've got friends in different countries and places to stay and people to meet. That's one of the reasons I love it, is such an international and very innovative community of people that are really thought leaders in these spaces. Health, wellness, freedom, what's happening in the world, new models. And final question, I'd love a little emoji. Are you ready to learn, grow, and stretch? Because this is what this space is also about. And I really believe as humans, we are happiest when we are progressing, when we are going after inspiring goals, inspiring visions that cause us to become a better version of ourselves and test out what we're made of. And I think that's when we're really on our creative edge and when we feel most alive, which is a big part of what this tonight is about. Today, tonight, wherever you are in the world. Next slide, please. So I think we're in the right place. No, we are. If you're here, I also trust that there's a certain way that things work in this space where often a lot of prayers are put out and a lot of prayers are received in this space. So I trust that if you're here, you are here for the right reasons. And I do really want to officially introduce you to tonight's call, which is it's called A New Frequency, Be in Your Element. And it's an 8-week immersion to elevate your physical and financial freedom through leading edge frequency tools and innovative leveraged income streams. Now, that's a big mouthful, but we are going to break it down, what that means and the different elements of what we're offering and what is in this 8-week training. It's ultimately a training with incredible leaders and mentors that have already created the health, financial freedom. We're learning from 6, 7, multiple 7-figure industry earners. So you're really getting this rich wisdom and knowledge in health, in wealth, in leveraged business models, and in terms of just a community here to up-level and inspire you in big ways. So that is the core of it. And you're going to hear from some lovely speakers tonight who I will introduce you to in a moment. Next slide, please. So, like I said, these are really the 3 elements that when we ask the question, what does this freedom and choice and vitality look like? The business model, the tool that is Healy that we work with, that's really where it all began for me and many people in this space. Is we really are going to learn more tonight about this revolutionary frequency tool for optimizing health that is Healy. Now, I'm sure many of you love it, know it, use it. Some of you that are new, is there anyone who hasn't tried it yet? Maybe put in the comments. But really, having been in the health and wellness industry for 17 years and always feeling like there needed to be something more holistic that was really allowing the individual, the whole individual, to be taken into consideration. Amazing, Jillian. I cannot wait for you to have an experience, and Jenny. And I just really in my heart of hearts knew that there had to be a an evolution in the health and wellness space. And I'll share my story in a moment, but when Healy came along, it, you know, and I think for many of us, like, it had already been in the imagination. And when it landed, I was like, of course it's here. It's time. It's time. We're ready for technology like this that can really support us and ultimately help us become our own healer and mastering of our own internal world, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So you're about to hear a lot more from Jana, who just blows my mind when she talks about Healy. Then we have the innovative leveraged income streams and generational wealth. Max is joining us shortly, and he is incredible. Dear friend of mine, one of the top income earners in Healy, but also, like, you know, probably top 1% of network marketing, full stop. And yeah, I'm really excited for you to meet him, especially for the guys. Often we can have a lot of women get attracted to this space because it's a really beautiful business model for women, for mothers, because it's very much how we weave in the world, building community, nurturing, creating. But it's really beautiful to have men in this space, and Max is going to share a bit about that tonight as well. And then we have the global community and the mastermind, which I've already touched on. So these are the 3 core elements that allow all the other magic to happen. Next slide, please. Okay, we don't need to go into too much of this, but yes, by this stage, I probably should tell you my name and why I'm here and why I'm talking to you. But yes, my name is Sarah Blacker, for those of you that are newer. And for those of you who have been around for a while, you've definitely probably heard multiple versions of my story. But like I said, I'm very passionate about health and wellness and just living a full life and really living our sense of purpose and meaning in the world. And obviously transformation has been a big core piece of that too. And yeah, I found myself 6 years ago-ish now, even though I'd built businesses and coached and mentored and, you know, taught all this stuff, I found myself in a position where I was feeling very low health-wise. Like, I'd really hit a bit of a rock bottom with hormones and feeling anxious and depressive. And with that, I couldn't really operate my coaching business. So I was doing big events, coaching, especially in the female leadership space, and having a health challenge and then not being able to run your business because of that meant that my finances were going backwards. And I would say the biggest piece as well was that I felt really lonely in the whole process of having my own business. Drop a comment in if you can relate to any or all of those, of maybe having your own business, maybe knowing that you're at heart of hearts like a high achiever and you know you can do things and you know you can kind of like create success, but maybe feeling a bit alone on the journey. And I just had a big prayer that I wanted to get my health right. I wanted to make money. I wanted to make impact. But really, I wanted an adventure. I wanted to go on an adventure of like creating impact and creating a great life. And yeah, I think all of us at some innate level as humans want to go on a fun adventure and, you know, have the health and wealth and all that comes with that, but really learn and grow. And Healy came in as the answer to multiple of those prayers. And I also understood network marketing because I'd done it before, but this model to me was way sexier and more beautiful. And I really got a sense of what could get created here with the right people. And kind of the rest is history. We built a big global community and of people I love all around the world. And I've really never seen, I love transformation, and I've never seen people have as much transformation as I have in this space, in terms of the health stories we hear, in terms of the finances people create in this business model, especially some of them that haven't done it before, but those that have, they're like, this is different. This feels different. This is different. What I'm receiving is very different. So that for me has been, you know, why I've devoted to this space, is just because of, yeah, the results I see people get. And I think we're only just getting started in some ways. There's so much more to come. And this container, and we can go to the next slide, is a new frequency, being in your element, is because I'm about to introduce someone to you, but is really because there's a new wave that I can feel coming in Healy. It's still early days, but it's really matured, and there's so much opportunity for new leaders to come in and help shape the culture and help make more impact with what we have here. So it's a really beautiful time for new people to come in and have this 8-week training as the best possible start to their journey. And probably, all the things we've learned through trial and error, we can shortcut. So anyway, let's introduce this fantastic lady who you can see here all her, what do we say? What do we call them? All your achievements, all your trainings, all your wisdom that you have. But yeah, she brings so much wisdom into this space, especially with her astrology, the way she trains. She's fully a student of the mind and body and nature. And like, this woman dives deep on topics and then shares them in the most passionate, inspiring way I think I ever hear. Like, always after Jenna's on, everyone's like, "Oh my God, that was amazing." Because you live what you teach, but also you bring such a joy and such a heart of service into this space. And obviously you've done so well already in Healy, and I know that there's like a whole other wave coming for you too. And yeah, just really grateful for how you show up and learn and study and teach and train to help us understand more about Healy and the elements that is also coming out soon. So over to you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, well, welcome everybody. Yeah, I know there's quite a few people on this call that have never even used a Healy before. And I feel like it's one of these things that the biggest hurdle to getting a Healy is the fact that you don't know what it is. You've never seen it before. You've never experienced anything like this before. But at the same time, once people understand what it is, they're like, of course I want that. Like, it's a no-brainer. And so I want to break it down. I'm going to go really, really high level to try and help get a glimpse of understanding what it is and how we work with it, and talk a little bit about elements. And then Sarah, you can prompt me with questions if I miss something that you want me to share. Okay. So if we think about the human experience, or the experience of being alive on this planet and in this solar system and in this universe, everything in it, you can't hear me? Can everybody not hear me? You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I just thought, oh yeah, here we go. Wonderful. So the new frequency with Healy. So everything in the known universe is defined by the frequency that it is vibrating at. And so everything is energy, and that energy is actually information. And so if we look back at the history of how medicine has unfolded, how the understanding of humanity, human bodies have existed, it's exactly what is laid out here. First, we understood it as tissues and organs. And what are they made of? Cells. Then they started molecular biology, and it helped us to understand the chemistry, our hormones, and our, all the chemicals that make us tick. And then they looked even further and they saw atoms, and then they broke that down even further and they saw subatomic particles, right? And then when they break down the subatomic particle, all they see is space. There's space. And when you start to really nerd out in the quantum world, what they say is it's 99.99999999999% space. And in that space, what is contained is information. And we can kind of move through a big array of study to see validation for this information. But the one that stands out the most to me, and that I find the most fascinating and have been working with long before Healy ever came into my life, is the work done by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And if you don't know, Dr. Bruce Lipton is the grandfather, or the guy who opened up the entire field of epigenetics. And what epigenetics teaches us is that you can take stem cells, so three bundles of stem cells, and put them into 3 different petri dishes from the same source, all conditions the same, except for once the stem cells are in the petri dish, they start to give them or create a different environment. So they're putting different information in. They're not changing anything physically or molecularly, all they're doing is they're adding different information into that petri dish, and the stem cells start to multiply out into completely different things. And I think when Dr. Bruce Lipton was working with it, he did like muscle and kidney and, like a completely different organ. And all they did is they changed the information. And what this taught them is that our genes express and cells express differently based off the information that they're saturated in. Now, how does this have to do with, I see Jennifer shared in their biology of belief? Well, the strongest generator of information that we have is our own mind and our belief systems. And until the advent of technology such as Healy, although Healy isn't the original, it is the most accessible, and it's actually incredibly intelligent, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, is this technology, this quantum technology, is it feeds different information into our system, which helps us to express out differently. It can even feed information into our belief systems, because believe it or not, our belief systems have their own frequency. If you look at the work of Dr. David Hawkins, for example, he has a series of books. The one that I love the most is Power versus Force. And in this book, he actually has mapped out the different hertz of different emotions. And so the emotions that we're having are at their own frequency. So because this little device has a resonance analysis in it, it is able to scan or do an analysis on you. It's kind of, I don't know, sci-fi in a way. It can do an analysis on you, and it can tell what your dominant emotion is. It can tell if your liver is operating in a range of health or a range of disharmony, or what they would say in the Healy world is if it's acting harmoniously or disharmoniously. And it can do that for literally anything in your whole entire body, mind, spirit, emotion, even the environment that you live in. It can analyze that information. And then the Healy Professional, I think, how many programs does it have now? I think it's getting close to like 240 almost, 233 maybe. Anyway, it's quite a few different programs, and it will go into its algorithm. Healy actually calls it organic intelligence, because it's not AI, it's not artificial intelligence. It's an organic intelligence that Healy has created itself through the research and development of this device and its grandparent, the Time Waver. And it can identify what programs could help bring you into a more harmonious state. Now, it's all just talk until you experience it. And I bet you why don't we just do a little experiment? Those of you that have a Healy already, can you, in like 1 or 2 sentences, share in what way Healy has impacted you greatest? I know in our family, one of my children has had a really severe history with eczema, depending if you're Canadian or American or Australian. And it was covering almost 70% of his body. And we tried everything for 2+ years to try and clear it. And I do believe that the Healy was working in conjunction with the other effort that we were doing, but he has nothing. It's amazing. And in my life, it has definitely helped me through a really difficult time with losing my mother and going through grief. It's also helped me, since I've been with Healy, I've deconstructed my business, and I'm now in the process of reconstructing my business. And I've been using the coach analysis in here. And so the ability for Healy to come in and help you to identify the frequencies that are running your show, because it's the underlying energy. Look at all these examples. Hold on, I need to pause and read some of these. It's moving so fast now. So a big one that people talk about is nervous system regulation. Let's see. Okay, there's so many. I feel like we almost need to copy and paste this into the email, the replay email. Elizabeth shared, it took her out of an almost 2-year dark night of the soul within a couple weeks. Changed my whole life. Energy boost after depletion and postpartum. Touch every part of my life. Chronic pain gone. Energy back. Thriving. Continual expansion. In Canada, this is recognized as from Health Canada to be able to work with chronic pain, fibromyalgia, um, migraines. In some European countries, they recognize it as a wellness device and also really great for mental health and sleep disorders. And so it's not just like woo, it's actually being recognized as a medical device. There is a model in some countries that is titled medical device. So, okay, chronic pain. Postpartum anxiety, back pain, 10 years of back pain gone in 2 years, physically helped with fatigue and lowered a very high TSH, reduced my brain fog. I also experienced that. Somebody else shares, I couldn't get out of bed because I was deeply depressed and suppressed using Healy and started traveling the world again in less than 3 weeks and have been traveling ever since. I mean, look at how many messages: sleep and hormone regulation, hormone, sleep, weight, memory, manifesting. Yeah, there's just so many. So this device with the resonance analysis, am I calling it the right thing? I know they just keep changing the name. It can identify over 9 million different frequencies. It doesn't generate that many frequencies, but it can identify. And then it can create, I think, just over 144,000 different frequencies. And your body, when you run this, right now I have mine running with the coil. It's an add-on thing that is working with essentially your torus field. And if you don't know what your torus field is, look up Spirit Science Torus Field and watch the video. It's an excellent video to help you understand that. It also has the ability to work with microcurrents, where you put these bracelets around your wrists and there's cords that run to it, and it's sending microcurrents into your body. Your body will receive those through your water body, your fascial system, your chemical body, through your skin and your tissue, any way that it can access. And microcurrent has been used for years. They use microcurrent really, like microcurrent is taking the world by storm, especially when it comes to anti-aging, beauty. You can go for microcurrent facials. They're using microcurrent and magnetics with all kinds of different mental health challenges in the world right now. ADHD, like the list of things is off the charts, what they're using microcurrent at large. And you can find microcurrent studies all over the internet with what's possible there. So this little device, no matter what you are working with in your life, there is a very good chance that if used properly, consistently, and over time, it will help to shift your reality, okay? Your lived experience. The other thing that, yeah, look at this. Healy supports with beauty and skin, biohacking, bioenergetic harmony, bioenergetic defense, support energy, fitness, focus, and learning. One of my favorite things that I've used it for, just as a day-to-day thing, is and I'm sure I'm not alone on this. Anybody suffer from distractionitis? Just getting distracted. You sit down to do your work and then like, oh, I'll go post on Instagram, and then you get lost scrolling, and then you sit down to do some other work and you notice there's dust. So there's a program in the learning programs called concentration. It's my best friend. It's completely changed my experience with being able to like sit and do focused work for, 30 to 90 minutes at a time. And then mental balance, physical pain, sleep and relaxation. The stories within this community about how Healy has helped them with sleep are so abundant, and it's absolutely wild. I don't have my Meg Healy. It's actually up in my bedroom because I run the Meg Healy is another device that has 2 Healys with the coil inside of it, and it works with a pulsed electromagnetic field, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. And there's a sleep program in there that I use every night. And my sleep is incredible. Relaxation, stimulation, and stress. And yeah. Okay. The other thing that we have in Healy, here, we want to do this. Okay. So I talked about this a little bit. So it does an analysis through the resonance analysis, and then it identifies what it can send to you. Now, this is kind of mind-blowing. So There are multiple different frequency devices on the market, and they have set programs. So you can get a frequency device that will work with your vagus nerve, for example, and it will send frequencies to help regulate or to downregulate the vagus nerve, which is a really important thing to be doing, especially in our high stress environment. What Healy does that is different is Healy, let's say a program is 59 minutes long. The first 10 minutes of that program, the Healy is going to send you a collection of frequencies from that program set. So within a program set, let's say there's a dozen or maybe even up to 30 or more frequencies within that program. The first 10 minutes, it's sending you the frequencies. And at the same time, it's also analyzing you repeatedly to see how your body is uptaking those frequencies. Then after that first initial phase is done, what it has done is it customizes a program for you specifically in that moment. Then remember I said this program, let's say, is 59 minutes long. For the duration, the next 50 minutes or 49 minutes of the program, it's going to come back periodically and consistently and do another analysis on you. And it's going to check, how is she receiving or he or they receiving those frequencies? What's changing in their system? What's not changing in their system? What's being stubborn? What's moving with ease? And then it recustomizes the program as we go. And so like you could run the same program for thyroid harmony, for example, 5 days in a row. And each of those 5 days, you're going to have the potential exists that you could have 5 completely unique programs. So we call it not just microcurrent with Healy, we call it individualized microcurrent frequencies. And that's because every time you run the program, it is creating a custom program for what your body, mind, spirit, emotions, environment need in that moment. And I think that is unique to Healy. I don't know of any other frequency device on the market that has that capability. And it's pretty special. And I see we're going to pass it over to Max, but I do want to just mention one more thing really quick before we do.
No, back. We missed a slide in this.
I know part of it is a time check and also part of it is topics, but we also have a new thing in Healy. So one of the key intentions and missions of Healy is to align us with our truest nature. And that means that, first of all, we are part of nature. We are nature. We are an individual expressing out as nature, but we are part of this whole, right? And we're not just part of this earth, and we're not just part of this humanity, but we're part of this solar system, and we're part of this universe. And Healy is working to align us with that naturalness. And the healthiest we can be is when we are aligned with nature. That is the healthiest we can be. All the biohackers, all of the leading edge health, it's all about aligning with nature, aligning with rhythms, recognizing that we are light bodies, that we are energetic beings, that everything is decoded and explained through frequency. So this is really the leading edge of health and wellness right now. What we're also doing within the Healy world is they've started to expand out, and we have new products called Elements. And Elements is I don't know if this is the language that Healy's using, but in the studying that I've done, this is what I've come to understand it as. It's micro dosing elements from nature that they call it biosignaling to mimic nature. So biomimicking, to help our bodies to produce what we need ourselves to align with nature. And I've been in a really deep dive with biohacking lately. I'm doing a whole huge reset, and Healy and Elements are perfectly aligned with it. But we align with nature by, first of all, the first endocrine disruptor that we ever had is the advent of artificial light. And so one of the primary things to align us with nature is to wake up and watch the sunset. And at the end of the day, watch the sunrise, wake up and watch the sunrise. I had that backwards, unless you're a total night owl. Wake up and watch the sunrise and go to bed and watch the sunset, because that quality of light is a signaler to our whole chemistry to help heal our hormones. Okay. So what Healy has done is they've created these elements that you actually take, ideally watching with the sunrise and the sunset, or when you wake up or before you go to bed, to help your bodies get into that natural rhythm of inhale and exhale, of day to night, of sun and moon, of yin and yang, of, there's all kinds of fancy words I could use as well, but we'll leave it at that. You get the idea. It's this pulsation of life. Every cell in you is pulsing, and every day we have this pulsation of night and day. And those moments are when your whole chemical system, your hormonal system, is creating the most hormones that you will throughout the day. And these microdose elements are just there to teach your body how to further come into alignment with nature. And then you use it with the frequencies on top of it. And we're moving into a whole new reality. So I know those aren't available in every country so far, but they're coming. You can pre-order them in the US, in Mexico, I think Colombia, Switzerland, and Germany. We're just on bated breath up here in Canada, like, come on, Canada, let's go. But yes, if they're not there yet, they will be soon. And then hydrogen water tablets are also coming, or tabs are also coming really soon as well. So Healy is at this incredible phase of growth. And we are on the cutting edge of some really incredible advances in understanding our reality. So thank you for having me. And I'm so excited. I'm guessing you're going to introduce Max, Sarah.
I am going to introduce Max.
Yeah, okay. I'm excited to listen to Max. I always love hearing Max speak. So thank you.
I love it. I'm sure he just loved listening to you speak. You're such a bundle of joy and so much wisdom and knowledge when you come to how you explain it. I'm listening and I'm like, yeah, okay. And also I've been here for ages, but when people share their stories, I always think of new ways to use Healy as well. It's really a tool that just you keep expanding with over time. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, it is really exciting time and phase we're in, and that's really where this whole 8 weeks, be in your element, it's to introduce the elements and that accompany the frequencies. The hydrogen's coming soon, so it's really starting to be this really whole picture of health and optimization, and also with that comes even more additional income streams as well. So it's a really exciting time if you're here now. It's amazing. We've got 170 people on the call, and really this is it's growing from where it was even a week or two ago. So I love that feeling of we're all growing together. Okay, next up, we're excited. We have a man in the house. Next slide. So Max, if you're in the house, I'm just briefly going to introduce you. He is an international speaker, so I always see him jetting around the world speaking, and really knows how to engage an audience. Very passionate, always studying and learning. I see him all the time at Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins events, really committed to his own evolution and leadership. He's a senior president in Healy. For those of you that are new, that won't mean much, but that's one of the highest levels you can get to in the company. And he's really passionate about living a life of freedom and choice, and also really, really passionate about service and being in service. And what I love about Max, though, is that he also likes to keep it fun. And he's like a brother. He was like my Bali brother when I first came and found Healy. And we had so much fun together in Bali, really launching Healy. And yeah, I think he's an incredible leader in this space, and really a big part of this next wave of Healy as well. So welcome, Max, into the house.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, Jana, for the amazing presentation. And thank you so much for having me. It's amazing actually to be on a call with all of you guys and following your journey of, creating this amazing, how do you call it? 88 to thrive, 88 days to thrive, 90-day workshops. It's really beautiful to see, and the community that comes together. So I was asked today to speak a little bit about the business. If you want, you can remove my picture. I'm not sure, maybe you pinned it.
Let's get you up on the main screen, maybe. Hang on, we'll go. That was the other slide we wanted, but we'll maybe just bring Max up on the screen so we can see him. And yeah, I think carrying on from what we've been sharing, really maybe sharing a bit of your journey to creating like a freedom lifestyle, and especially like why Healy for you, why Healy now, and you know where you see it's going next. And I think also like just to have you on is great, because I know there's a few guys that are gonna tune in, so I'm gonna ask you a few questions at the end about, you know, being a man in this environment, and you know, inspiring and supporting the ladies. So yeah, but just maybe starting with your story, and why Healy, why now?
Okay, fantastic. I would say, okay, let's talk about business and sales as well, because that was initially the reason why I joined Healy, you know, because I don't want to tell you the whole story because it's a very long story, but I want to go into the essentials and tell you, don't worry. If you know, somehow worry about selling anything, this is not the place to worry, because this is what I learned, not the hard way, but I would say the wonderful way, you know, because my initial intention from my brain, and it's always like, if we are in our head, we dead. When we stop listening to our heart or don't listen to our heart, it's oftentimes bring us into the wrong directions. And back in the days, I was listening a lot to my brain or my head, and I ignored what my heart was telling me. But I know my heart was guiding me to exactly this. And in the beginning of Healy, what Jana was explaining, it's amazing, you know, it's wonderful. And I had similar experiences when I met Markus Schmieke, the founder of Healy, in the very beginning. And he was giving me a rundown of what is Healy, because I was really curious about this, you know, and he was telling me really for 3 hours about the quantum field, about the resonance sensor, quantum sensor, how they ever called it, you know, and how the resonance works and how the quantum field works. And honestly, after 3 hours, I had no idea what he was talking about, but I thought, like, this is an amazing story and it sounds fantastic. And if only 1% of the story might be true, I believe we can make a lot of money. That was my belief system in the very beginning. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting story. And as we know, like in this industry, you can always say, like, we are the best paid storytellers in the world, because if we have a great story, people connect to great visions. People connect to great stories.
And then I just want to sell my computer to finish a few things. And then I haven't stressed.
Could we just mute? Sorry, Max, you're in the
No
floor.
worries. And this is how I went out. And to be honest, I was believing in the story. I was hoping for this to be true, but somehow my brain was telling me, like, this is a story, you know, and let's run with the story and build an amazing business. And I thought that's what we do. And long story short, I was waking up after 2 months to absolutely amazing testimonials that completely blew me away. I was feeling myself more than I have ever felt myself. I was connecting to myself. So the Healy took something, awakened something in me, which I believe today is the most beautiful testimonials, because let me tell you that we have amazing testimonials. We do have incredible physical testimonials. We have incredible emotional testimonials and mental testimonials. But for me, the most beautiful and most powerful testimonials are actually the testimonials of becoming more aware. And this is what happened to me. And this is what happened to so many people out there, because what Jana was absolutely correctly saying is, like, we are all energy. And when you become aware of this by just using a small device, I'm running the Mac Healy here always next to me, because energy is flowing through your body. No matter if you use the microcurrent, no matter if you do a scan and you do one of these scans and then some answers come up in the aura scan and you think, like, how the hell does it know this? Like, what does it mean? How is it even possible? I was just thinking that. I was just having a talk with somebody about exactly that topic, and now Healy shows me that. Like, why? And you start realizing then life is not so simple and black and white, and there is so much more to it. And then you become aware that you are energy and you're connected to everything out there. And when you become aware of this fact, you become actually, because you start asking yourself new questions. And when you ask yourself new questions, you become new answers. You get new answers, right? Because every problem is just a question that hasn't been answered. So when we ask enough questions and we become aware of all these things, we become very empowered, I would say. So this becomes for me the most beautiful testimonial, is the awakening, the empowerment of the people to wake up to the fact that you are energy and you can create and you can change. And if there are things that are not very good in your life, no matter what the symptom might look like, you are able to change those things if you become aware to the fact that you are really powerful. And this is for me the most moving, the most amazing testimonial about Healy. And then my whole thing, and that's why I'm not going into the selling so much, because then my whole shift from selling went into something completely different. And this is what I want to ask all of you guys when you understand what Healy really is. And when you start using it for yourself, and to be honest, there is no risk for you to do it because there's a 14 days money back guarantee. So you can just simply order this device. If you don't like it, send it back. So you have nothing to lose. If you do order it, use it for yourself, try it, experience it. And I have rarely seen somebody send it back. In the beginning, it was 2 people because they couldn't connect it to the Bluetooth, you know, but these problems are not existing anymore. Meanwhile, it's established, the technology is very good. So I would be surprised if you send it back. And if you send it back, if you use it for yourself, then the point of selling is the following. Feel it for yourself, believe it in it. When you believe in it and when you're convinced about it, you will influence no matter who. You become passionate about it. Just go out and share it because you care for other people. And I always say that this is so simple, right? It sounds so simple, but this is my whole secret of becoming a senior president eventually, which is like the second highest rank in the company, or still the highest rank of nobody achieved the higher rank yet. And this is what it's all about, right? And the beautiful thing about Healy and the compensation plan that comes with it, it's a high ticket item, you know? So there is a price to it, which is absolutely fine, because there is no too expensive, because I don't see there's a price tag to waking up, to becoming aware, to becoming emotional balanced and mentally in a good state, or physically improved or supported. There is no price tag. You can use it for everybody. There is no price tag on magic either, because for me, it is still magical to go into the software and scanning and sending frequencies around the globe, even to people who are not even close to me, right? And seeing this and understanding this and just learning more about it. So there is no price tag about it. And the good thing is, if it's a high ticket item, it makes us generate more income. So for somebody who starts this week with Healy, he is able to make a 4-figure, maybe even a 5-figure income in a month, depending on what he does, because we have the ability with the direct bonus, which is like basically like an affiliate, to create really generous commissions for us, right? And then you have communities like that, where basically you are in an environment where it's not about you becoming a great salesperson or becoming a great speaker, or don't even think about, you know, trying to explain Healy, because as of now, you just need to experience it. And if you really want to share something, you can always invite people. And you have amazing leaders like Sarah, Jana, and all of the rest of you guys who can share their experiences, right? And then the sharing, caring comes in, because the number one thing in every business where you have a product attached to is always credible stories. So I just went through the chat here and I was amazed, you know, I mean, there's so many people already using the Healy, and the testimonials are freaking insane, right? And it's honestly, I love what you guys are doing, because it's also our responsibility. And this is how I see it as well. When you do a business, you don't do it just for the money, like I did it in the very beginning, but it's, again, it was my brain, you know, my heart was actually looking for something more meaningful, and I found it. I didn't listen to it. That was the only difference. But if you have something you're passionate about and you know it's truly helping somebody, why would you be in your own way and have the responsibility to go out and share to other people, right? And if you share to other people, that means invite people to experience, to listen to other people's stories, to be on a call and be educated, and to help them to understand what we are doing. Even if people say no, if your intention was to help those people, there is zero negative effects to it. It's just something beautiful, right? And the more you care, the more you go out, the more you load up yourself with passion of making a difference and impact and creating beautiful changes in people's lives, the more money you can earn. The more money you can earn, the more influence you can have and impact in creating a more beautiful environment in yourself's life, in your family's life, in your friend's life, in your community, in your church, in wherever you are, right? And this is, I think, it's so beautiful. And to have something like this, given with the network marketing model, with what we are doing, the social selling, how we like to call it sometimes as well, it's really a blessing, right? And I constantly want to remind myself how blessed we actually are to step into an opportunity like that, you know, to have a product like that. Because until today, I mean, I'm doing this now since 5 years, and 5 years ago, we didn't have all this information. We didn't have thousands and thousands of testimonials. All we did was a few testimonials, a device which we had no clue what it is, and a belief it might change the world, right? And with that, we went out and created. Now, today, it's very different. We have 5 years of experience. We have a very stable, very strong fundament. We have an amazing technology, and we still have that unicorn, still have that unique product that still, in my opinion, has almost zero competition because, okay, Jana said it, there is some frequency devices on the market, but frequency devices are on the market since 60 years. You just can't compare what Healy is. Portable, small, being able to analyze the frequency programs. I mean, there's these two things that has Healy is one is the technology with a quantum sensor, or now it's the resonance sensor, and we changed that name. That's one thing. And the other thing is the database of knowledge. I don't know how many, hundreds of therapists. I mean, now we have 3,500 therapists, I think, using TimeWaver professionally on a day-to-day basis. And people like them, they're working since decades with frequencies, and they understand what kind of frequency works for what. So this knowledge we have in Healy. Okay, so it's not only technology, but it's also the knowledge of what is a frequency actually doing to you and which frequency works for what. And there's simply nothing comparable on the market. Okay, so I believe we are still creating a massive trend. We talked about Bruce Lipton, we talked about Joe Dispenza, we talked about all these people, and it is, people are getting more and more curious because we've been more and more lied to, and we start waking up more and more by the environment of the media and all this bullshit what's happening around us, that you ask yourself new questions and you want to know more answers, and then there is a little bit of a solution. We call it also the Trojan horse of spirituality, because you have that thing in a box. So it's a very exciting product. It's just on us to really take it on, experience it. And then if we experience it, if it does change you for something better, why would you hold back and don't talk to other people? Why wouldn't you make it to your obligation and responsibility to go out and share to more people? Right? The side effect will just be amazing. It will just end up with contribution to others. It will just end up with income for yourself. And that's what I believe is something we can be very, very excited and very, very grateful for. Right? So yeah, I don't want to go too long in the story. Maybe open up for the questions before I go on.
No, I love it. I love when you're on a passionate rant. And I think I love your honesty too, Max, because you know, like even you're honest about when you start, you're like, you know, thinking more logically, like, oh, how does this work? I don't know. And I think it's great to hear from a male's perspective, because I think a lot of women really intuitively feel the yes to Healy, whereas some of the guys can, you know, sometimes, not always, it can be women too, but have the logical, how does this work? It sounds great, but can it really be that good? And so I think you sharing so honestly is really cool. And like you said, it's really when people, you know, even I had some skepticism, and I know a lot of you on the call did, but once you really experience it, you can really feel it. And I'm seeing people in the chats being like, yeah, I had no intention to share it, but yeah, when you do see the impact it makes, especially when people have had things they've been trying to kind of, you know, support for a very long time, and then they have a breakthrough or something really shifts, it's really inspiring to want to be of service to that more so. So yeah, I guess just lastly, like on that, like, you know, there's a lot of women that are in this industry, and especially our community, we have a lot of women, and I think, yeah, I'd love to hear from you, like what do you get inspired by in this space in terms of supporting women? And like, do you have a bit of a vision for Healy and, you know, to bring more great guys into the community and space? Like, how do you see that working?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm personally, I work with a lot of guys, you know. Yeah. So because guys are still very oriented on making a big impact, making money, building a big business. And the top leaders that I have in my organizations happen to be guys. It's also happened to be your group is just amazingly dominated by a lot of women, right? And that's absolutely cool. Like, I love that, you know. And then what kind of guy doesn't love working with a bunch of women? I mean, I love it. And I think it's not only women, you know. So my top leaders in the industry, in my teams, not all of them, okay, not all of them, but a lot of them are guys who can see the potential, who will see the business, who see what's possible, who see the uniqueness of the product as well. And to be honest, we also have people who are making a lot of money, making a lot of impact, and doing a great business, but they're not really completely interested in the product, you know. And to be honest, that's absolutely fine as well. Like, you don't have to love the product, work with the product, indulge with the product every day. It's not necessary. You can also just say like, wow, this is different. I know some people who would love to work with that, right? And I have a lot of people who do this, right? In fact, there's a lot of people on the top, who really have big organizations who say like, I'm just interested in building massive organizations. And then it happens to be oftentimes that women who are much more caring than men care of communities, care about circles of how exactly what you're doing, how to use the product, how to go on with the product, how to do the things what they want to do. But still you have men who just like either are into the product or into the business or both, like me. It's all there. And I think this is the beauty about this space, is you can create yourself the way you want it to be. It's not, there is no right or wrong. There is no, you got to be that kind of person. No, you can just be the single mom and be successful. You can be that accounting person and be successful. You can be that strong masculine leader and be successful. You can be who you want to be and make it work for you. And I think this is the reality of the business that we are in, and the beauty of this business that we are in, because it allows you to unfold the way you want to be. And you don't need to change yourself. And the teams allow us. Now you have Jana here, Sarah, who is absolutely passionate about product, knows everything about frequencies that you can imagine. And she understands how to explain very in detail and duplicatable the product, which is beautiful, right? So when you find people like this, boom, you connect the dots and you have a team. And this is happening all over the world in all structures, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you can do it either way, right? And this is the beauty of it. We're just creating these teams, communities around the world. And sometimes there are more men, oftentimes there are more women, and whatever comes is amazing. Maybe the men, sometimes they're intimidated to join your team because there's so many women in here. But I would see it really as a blessing. I think it's amazing because I see you guys as a really beautiful, caring community that is really there for the people, right? I'm the guy who's like going out, create something, put fire and inspiration in something, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to do it somewhere else, right? This is my nature. So I need to have some people being able to nurture what I started, right? So, and you guys are the pot of nurturing women, and this is amazing, right? So if I'm a man and I join your team, I want that because I know whoever I can bring to you, he or she will be nurtured and be perfectly taken care of. And I think this is so valuable, right? This is why your business works, because you have that nurturing. You cannot let go of the business. If you don't nurture, eventually I don't have these calls, you don't have these communities, you don't have people you can funnel into something, and you don't have that business success that you have today. So these communities is what you want in order to create a very strong, growing business.
I love that. I think that's awesome, because I think there are some guys that we're going to join this this call, or might watch the replay. And yeah, I think to see it as like it's a real business, and when you really understand the compensation plan and how it creates real time freedom for you. I mean, I know you've got a family coming and you've got a strong value around family and like work-life balance, but you're a high achiever still. So I think it's great for even though the industry is more typically female, but like guys really come in and take this as like a real business. And we won't go too into depth because we're going to round it up soon. But if you do want to look deeper into the compensation plan and the business side of it, we can send you something to go deeper into that. But once you kind of understand these models, it kind of blows your mind, really. And you kind of never want to go back to trading time. That's what I found anyway. So we'll go back to the slides, but thanks, Max. That was awesome. And is there any one last piece you want to share about like where you think things are going next?
Yeah, okay. No, for sure. I mean, there is with the elements, it's a game changer, right? We in the business, or we are in the field since 5 years, we've been waiting for this. I mean, Healy is great, no question. But we do have to have an influx of people, right, buying Heelys in order to sustain the business, which is also fine because it's growing every day and people need Heelys. And knowing that Healy 1 is now for sale, and in next year or so, there will be iPhone 2 and there will be iPhone 3. So there's also a sustainability. There's also a point where people, when they love the product, of course, they want to buy into the next stuff, right? But Elements is really here to make our life easy and bring our business to the next level, which means you have an existing structure of 50 people who all purchase the Healy, who tap into communities where they get taught how to use this device and loving it. Now to supplement with Elements, which brings the experiences and of frequency to the next level, allows us to really finally create somewhat of a passive income stream, because people are on auto ship. People can now reorder to be qualified to earn money. And this is, of course, the heart and this is the blood of this business. And I think this is very, very exciting. And yeah, Jana already explained what Elements is. Alberto, Dr. Alberto, he's the creator of it, is a good friend of mine. He's an absolute genius. Okay, this guy lived since he's 17, he lived in India for 6 years, studied medicine. He went to China. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think this guy is absolutely amazing in what he's created and what kind of supplements he's been creating before. So I know Elements will be a big success, and it will be really the next level for our business in this year already, which is very exciting.
Beautiful. No, thank you. And I loved also just to sort of bring it home, and we'll put the slides back up, but thanks for your time, Max. Really appreciate it. And
Of course.
yeah, like just to sort of bring it all back, like, you know, a big part of this and coming back to the 8 weeks is, we'll go next slide. We've touched on this one, is and Max touched on this, like the whole thing is about being in your element. Like we're talking about frequency, energy, frequency, vibration. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And you really get to come here and create this in a way that aligns to whatever your vision is on your heart. And you can come in and love the product and, you know, just love the product, or like Max said, you can love the product and share the product, or you can come in and really like be part of this community and really commit to building beautiful income streams and really help build this culture and be part of this community. So whatever way you kind of come in, and we have like really laid out for you the systems and the structures. We have a pathway, and in the 8 weeks, and which is why we're doing this call, you really get to have 8 weeks of training from people like Max, from people like Jana, from people like myself, from another sort of 10 leaders that have really already walked this path, who have created 6, 7, multiple 7 figures in this business, and are here to kind of really train you on different aspects, from getting your vision cleared, sales, marketing, wealth mindset, leadership, more about the products. So you get such a wealth of knowledge. It's like being part of a mastermind. Put in the comments if you can relate, but it's like being part of a mastermind, but normally you pay a lot of money. I've paid tons of money before to be in masterminds, but this is actually like you're getting paid to be in a mastermind, because you get to learn all the skills, you get to learn about Healy and frequency, you get to learn about business and building community, but you're actually getting paid to learn. As you learn, you implement, and you start to build a business. So in that way, I think it's such a new paradigm business model. And especially the way we're doing it, it's very circular kind of in its leadership. And we really invite people that might be here that are feeling the call to be involved and you know, step into leadership. And it's such a beautiful platform, no matter what business you already have or what skill set you have. It's a really place that you get to kind of amplify and you know, like it says, like find a new frequency and be in your element by doing what you love in this space, and really ultimately opening up different income streams, which I think at this time on the planet, it's kind of not optional. It's kind of a necessity with the nature of where things are going. And I think that's why a lot of people come here and they really get, okay, it's time to sort of expand those income streams and also be part of something bigger than themselves. We'll go to the next slide and then we're going to kind of wrap it up for you. But thank you for like being here and being so engaged. This is the community pace, which I've kind of already touched on. You're in business for yourself, so you've still got freedom to do it to the level you want to play at, which can be from a little bit to all the way to like where Max plays out. I've already said this, you get paid to be part of it. And also this is a big thing. A lot of people in this community, they want to learn, grow, they want to stretch. They want to create new habits. And really the 8 weeks, there's a big focus on learning skills and learning new habits that optimize health, wealth, and freedom. So I personally get excited about these containers because I always am looking to kind of up level where I can as well. Next slide. So, are you ready? We always just say this at the end too, or like you can kind of read this, but I also want to, there's so much beautiful stuff available here. But also we don't want to just be like, oh yeah, it's all magical. It does exactly like this says, it requires your energy, your commitment, depends on your background, your skill set. And it's not like perfect, but it's freaking pretty epic. And I haven't found anything better out there in terms of all the elements we've talked about today. And so, yeah, it's when you really come in and you feel the fire and you feel the heart and you're like, yep, I want to do this. I've received so much more than I ever thought would be possible. And so, yes, we want to say you've got all the elements you need to really thrive and be successful here, but it also requires your choice, your commitment, your fire, your heart, that actually really activates that and bring that to life. Next slide, please. I think that's it. So how to join the movement. I saw a few people in the comments like, cool, sounds good. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? So from here, we're going to bring it home. But basically, your entry to receive all this training, the 8 weeks, all the business skills, learning from incredible people, actually being mentored step by step of how to actually build something beautiful here. It's all for free when you purchase a Healy Plus or Professional. Or you can get, for those who are like, yep, I'm in, I'm serious, I like to do things all in, there's business bundles where you can get like Mag Healy, Coil, and a Healy Plus or Professional, and that's the best way to get started. So you've got access to the full suite of products, but you can enter wherever feels right for you. And the best thing to do is go back to the person who invited you on this call and sort of say, yep, I'm really excited by this. Where do I get started? And they're going to guide you in the right direction. And that's where you get that really one-on-one support as well as the bigger collective support. Sign up on the landing page, and that's where you're going to get all the emails, updates. We have another webinar like this next week. So someone give me the date, I think that's 29th, is it? Next Monday. And that one, because we had a special request for a guy being on, and we also had a special request for mothers and building a freedom frequency business. So next Monday's call is specific to mums who want to build. We've again got incredible speakers, Sarah Bliss, who is just, anyone who knows Sarah, she is an absolute powerhouse, mother of 4. No idea how she does it, but she does it and she does it well. And Fernanda Ardahia, Sarah Jane, so really incredible leaders in this space. So invite people onto that call that you're thinking of, that might love it. And like you would have seen with this week, it's growing every week. So if everyone has a few names drop in of people they think, oh yeah, I think they would love this and benefit, as we invite them on, that continues this movement and this momentum, which is really where it feels fun, I think, for everybody. And also in the once you purchase and you've signed up to the landing page, you're going to be guided into the systems and structures, and there's actually a little pre-game workbook where you can really start to think about your visions, your goals, what this is about for you, what you want to create. And it's a really exciting, time, especially coming into this second half of the year, to get to play big. And if you've been kind of hiding, or you've been playing small, or you've, maybe not lent into your edges, I always say, like, the next year, 2 years, they're going to come and go anyway. So we may as well go for what we love and really create something beautiful and do it together. So all of those in the systems and structures. So really looking forward to the call next week as well. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, your attention. We realize it's your most precious resource, and to be here in this space with so many of you, it feels really beautiful. So we look forward to meeting more of you one-on-one in this space. And much love to all of you. And also one last thing, for any new people that join up, we're going to put you in the draw to win the Elements pack as well, a full Elements morning and evening pack, so that you straight off the bat get to experience, probably before a lot of people in the space actually, the magic of the elements that Jana spoke about, and integrate that in with the frequencies. So you are going to have a big, beautiful shift upon entry into this community. So Yeah, lots of love. And we shall see you all next Monday for another dive in on a new frequency. Be in your element. Bye, everyone.